Nowadays, one of the most pressing issues in our country is the issue of death penalty. In 1987, the Philippines set history by being the first Asian country in modern times to abolish death penalty for all crimes. The made decision was part of a committed effort to restore respect for human rights following the ouster of President Ferdinand Marcos. But it was reintroduced in 1993, and the first person to be meted with this punishment in 1998 was Leo Echegaray, who was found guilty of raping his 10-year-old stepdaughter. With the Philippines having an on and off disposition with this issue, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque in 2018 said that the decision on reimposing the capital punishment remains with the Senate and House. Despite it being the government's way of deterrence, I do not believe that death penalty should be reimposed. The bottom line is, death penalty in the present time could be a form of social injustice. President Rodrigo Duterte has always been vocal about his war on drugs. It is not a surprise that the priority of the administration to reimpose the death penalty is for serious drug-related offenses. Also, it is no secret that the President himself is the leading proponent of this bill. With 216 votes in favor, 54 against, and 1 abstention, the bill will now go in the Senate. The draft law has been passed at a time when the country is having a wave of more than 8,000 deaths, mostly because of extrajudicial executions under President Duterte's war on drugs, since he came to power in 2016. In the case of People versus Mateo, the Supreme Court admitted that a vast majority of trial courts had wrongfully imposed the death penalty during the time it was available as a sentencing option from 1993 to 2004. As long as there are these judicial errors, bringing back the death penalty will only put more innocent people on death row. Another argument against the imposition of death penalty is that it can very well be anti-poor. Everyone is aware how our justice system works, and the corruption is a common knowledge. Undoubtedly, the system favors the rich and powerful, especially at this time where the House of Representatives decided that plunder should be removed from the recommended list of crimes punishable by death. This is obviously a favorable action towards our corrupt leaders of the country, because if they really believe in its effectiveness, corruption and plunder must have been retained. Free Legal Assistance Group Chairman Jose Jocno said that these actions are illegal and unconstitutional and blatantly violate international law. He noted that death penalty is anti-poor, stressing that more than 80% of Filipinos are poor. Mostly, the poor are the ones who bear the brunt of wrongful death penalty convictions. They are vulnerable, for they have no voice, no money, and no power to prove themselves. Although the intention of having the death penalty back is to deter crimes, as long as our justice system is not fairly working among the people, it should not be reimposed. Instead of trying to have it back, our government should focus more on the root causes of the crimes happening in the country. They should also study first the relationship of crime and poverty, for I hate to admit it, but with this kind of law, the poor will always be the one to suffer. Death penalty is inhumane and effective way of dealing with crime. Death penalty is another way of social injustice. I say no to death penalty.